people are prepared. The leader of the planetary dance convenes the group and teaches them the dance. Then there's a procession to where the dance takes place. The dance is called the Earth Run. And in fact, each person who participates formulates an intention that is their particular engagement with the dance. But overall, there is an intention for the planetary dance every time it happens, every place it happens. It's called a dance for peace among people and peace with the earth. That is the intention for the planetary dance all the time, every place. But in addition to that, each year here, we identify a theme for it. The theme this year is Connect and Protect. There have been many themes over the course of the 37 years we've been doing this. But then each individual is able to formulate their intention for running in the dance. That is how they make personal for them what they're running for. And it's important that it's not something just for yourself, but it is out in the world. It's how you understand what you can do that is helping to make peace among people and peace with the earth, and in the case of this year, connecting and protecting.
I'm going to talk to you about the actual dance itself, which we call a score. A score is simply the activity that you do, who does it, where do you do it, and how long do you do it. So that's what a score is. I want to show you this first because the final connections of the people in space becomes a beautiful mandala. And if you were to videotape the dance from above, you would see this pattern. But let me tell you how you arrive at this pattern. So the first thing that you do is you find your special space where you're going to perform. We perform on a wonderful flat meadow. And so what we do is we procession from the gathering space, which is a place where people could just sit and learn the dance and get familiar with each other. So the first thing that we do when we start the dance is that we establish these 4 directions. We always have flags in each one of these directions, a different color flag to designate the 4 directions. And we do this, we kneel. Then when it's time to start the dance, we declare our intention. I run for, and then you run for something that's very important to you.
I dance for peace, for the Peace River Valley peoples, and the protection and respect of rivers.
I dance for my father and all people who struggle with mental illness.
I run for gay people in Chechnya who are imprisoned by the government and being tortured.
I dance for rivers who have witnessed massacres.
I run for my sister-in-law and all people suffering from severe depression.
I run for women whose voices have been silenced by culture and politics. May they find their voices and rise to feminine consciousness.
Something on the basis of healing or peace. Peace in the world, peace between nations, peace in your family, healing. And so all of these intentions are the foundation of this dance. This is what makes it a ritual and not a performance. So people are in the 4 directions. There are flags in those 4 directions to designate them. And they rise up from a kneeling position to a standing position and place their hands on their heart. And then they say their dedication. I run for, and they start running in this circle. Then, as it becomes more developed, they go in another direction. Let's say that they've been running very vigorously and now they want to run in another direction at a little slower pace. So they simply loop around and start a second circle. It's not as vigorous as this first circle. And each time they start their run, they start with the declaration of their intention. Then, as the dance continues, they loop around and they can still go in a third circle. This circle is just walking. And so they stay in a very relaxed and get themselves regenerated. If they want to, they can go back and start this direction again. They can loop around and go in this direction, so they can keep the dance going as long as they want. And then at the very end, we all come together in the circle here. We all come together. And in the center are the musicians. And we all come together, we kneel down, we think about what we've danced for, and we imagine that our intention has come true.
Let's go down and touch the earth and imagine that your commitment, what you were running for has come to pass. Give gratitude to the earth, to the air, and gather up all that energy back into your heart and come to standing in your own time.
And then we place our hands on our heart like this, and then we go, pa!
And now let's release all of that and send our prayers out into the world. Pa!
And we send our message out to the world. So that is the score for the planetary dance. I did it in Israel with Palestinians and Jews together. And it was very strong. And it changed my point of view about what's happening there when I realized that there's a huge peace movement there, just huge, called Peace Now. And we were just women, but it was a beautiful experience. We were hugging and crying and singing and eating, sharing food and dancing together. So there's a lot of also in planetary dance I think attracts people. Hope. In an age where we're being threatened in all directions, all the time. Planetary dance, I think, this may be a very personal experience, but whenever I do it, I feel more hopeful. This is a good one. Now, another thing you'll notice when Barbara comes, that in the beginning of the planetary dance, you don't start drumming, you do this. Why? Why do you do this instead of this? You do this because you want to be able to hear what people are saying. If you start this, it's harder to hear what people are saying. So you do this for quite a while. Then you start the drumming pretty easy. Just a single pulse. Then you'll notice she'll start building on it because she has other musicians there. She has Dohi, she has Jehan. These are all people who are also drummers, and they start adding to this. So it starts picking up the energy, and then they keep, you'll notice they keep building it, and adding. Dohi will start getting you to use your voice. All these things to keep the energy lifting and lifting and lifting so it doesn't go, ugh. So we can say that the planetary dance has a spiritual aspect. If we bring our spirit to it. All right? So it's also an art experience. Now that's been verified by the Venice Biennale, that there is an art aspect to it. So it is a performance and it is a score. So it's healing, it's art, it's ritual, it's community building. And it could be many things because each of you are going to do a planetary dance that has its own unique flavor. I don't know what it will be. Jim doesn't know what it be, but we know that you'll bring your own flavor to it because you can't help it because of the score process. Because everybody's going to be dancing for a purpose. That purpose is going to add up to the nature of your community and what it needs and wants and is praying for. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when Barbara Borden comes, she's a very special person. As I mentioned in passing that there's a film about her that has been shown locally. So she's also very beloved. And she's been with us from the very, very beginning.
One thing I would say is when you're outside, it's quite different because there's nothing to contain all the energy. So it's easy for it to just get lost in the hills and the sky. But if you use the determination you had today and the, I call it fuerte, just strength, and stay committed and connected to every beat, every time your foot touches the earth, and maybe you could take Thich Nhat Hanh's words as he said, whenever he walks, he massages the earth. So when you're running, what would you be doing to it? Oh boy, something, deep massage, deep tissue. Oh, it's a lovely drum. I can tell the wood is exquisite. Do you see the wood? Yeah. So, well, this has a lovely sound. And this is the one I'm looking for. So there's a little place on the mallet, which is right here on the top. That's a little softer, so you can get a softer sound, or you can really, get a lot of attack. Okay. So let's see what this drum has to say to you. the stories it's gonna tell, the people it's gonna heal. How does a drum come into one's life? It's always a surprise and a gift. Hannah's given so many gifts and surprised people too. Yes, you do. This is to amplify whatever you want to say, Anna. Whatever moves you want your dancers to do, it'll come through loud and clear. Try it. Let's see what you do if we're the dancers here to move. Yeah. All right. Done like a true